Okay, yeah, welcome to another day. And thank you for being here. If you've not liked or subscribed to our videos, please hit like, subscribe, and share so others can actually also benefit from these short videos we do. I'll try to make today's video as short as I can, but then we'll be talking about this will be a part three. Okay, part three of the videos, the two previous videos we did, which was titled Yahweh being the devil. Okay. But then the reason I'm actually making this is just so that those who do not understand why we do these videos, just so that they can have a better understanding of these things. So let's just get straight into it. Now, I'll be reading first of all from Isaiah chapter 6. Then we go into the New Testament, okay? I just want to make people understand a few things. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 6, Isaiah is speaking about his vision, okay, which he had of Yahweh. He says, in the year King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He calls Yahweh the Lord there because, well, I mean, he is the king of this earth, right? The God of this world. So let's go. Verse 8. So Yahweh says, okay, Isaiah says, then I heard the voice of the Lord, Yahweh, saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? He says, and Isaiah says, Isaiah said, and I said, here am I, send me. And he said, Yahweh said, go and tell this people, be ever hearing. Take note. Be ever hearing, never understanding. Be ever seeing, never perceiving. Make the heart of these people callous. We are reading from the NIV. Make their ears dull. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. As I said earlier in one of the other videos, you'd notice Yahweh doesn't say and be healed by me. He says, make their hearts, make their ears dull, close their eyes, close their ears, close their hearts. Otherwise, they might hear the message and turn and be healed. Okay? We don't know. He doesn't say healed by whom, but we know who he was referring to, who was going to do the healing. Now, let's go into the New Testament. Now, those were the words of Yahweh. But let's read from Matthew chapter 13. Okay? We'll just read from verse 11 first of all. Jesus said, Jesus replied, he says, the kingdom and the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. He says, whoever has more, whoever has will be given more. Whoever has knowledge will be given more. And he will have an abundance of knowledge. That's what he meant. He says, whoever does not have the knowledge of the kingdom, even what he has will be taken from him. I'll explain something there, but let's just continue. He says, this is why I speak to them in parables. When he says, whoever does not have knowledge of the kingdom, says, even what he has will be taken from him. We will get to see who does the taking away, because people who do not have the spirit of the Christ, when they read these things, they get confused and they say, oh, why would Jesus say even those who do not have, even what they have will be taken away from them? Okay? But we will get there. So I'll just repeat it. He says, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you. He says, but not to them, not to those who do not hear, right? He says, whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever has a knowledge of the kingdom, he will be given more knowledge, and he will have an abundance. He says, whoever does not have, even the little he has will be taken from him. Then he says, this is why I speak to them in parables. He says, then he now quotes Yahweh's words in the Old Testament. In Isaiah 6, Jesus quotes them. He says, for those seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. He says, in them, in those who do not hear and in those who do not see, he says, in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. Yahweh's words are fulfilled in those who do not see and in those who do not hear. That's what Jesus is saying there. He says, in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing. This is Matthew chapter 13. Now we are on verse 14. It says, you will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. He says, for these people's hearts, now he's no longer quoting from Isaiah. He's speaking here. He says, for these people's heart has become calloused. Why? Because Yahweh has made their heart calloused. He says, for these people's heart has become callous. They hardly hear with their ears and they have their eyes closed. They have closed their eyes. He says, otherwise they might see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their hearts. He says, and turn and repent and I will heal them. That's what Jesus is saying there. So who's the one doing the healing? It's Jesus, right? Who's the one closing the ears of the people? It's Yahweh the devil, whom the same people have worshipped as their God. So Jesus says, in these people who do not hear me, and in these people who do not listen to me, he says, in them, the prophecy of Isaiah from chapter 6, Yahweh's words which he told Isaiah to go proclaim to the people. He says, in them, that prophecy is fulfilled. That's what he says. He says, for these people's heart has become callous. Who made their heart callous? Yahweh, who said to Isaiah, go and prophesy to these people. Be ever hearing, and be ever seeing, but never understanding. Be ever hearing, never understanding. Make their hearts dull. Close their eyes, close their hearts, close their ears, lest they turn and be healed. But Jesus now says here, he says, otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I will heal them. That's it. So Yahweh is the one closing the eyes, ears, and hearts, and Jesus is the one healing those eyes, ears, and hearts. Anyway, let's just read also in the book of Mark. Okay, we'll just read briefly in Mark chapter 4. Where are you? Okay, it's here. Okay, so he says, yeah, I will tell you something. When he says, okay, we'll get back there, where I said, he says, whoever has more will be given, and whoever has none, even the little he has will be taken away from him. But we'll get there. So, Mark chapter 4, from verse 10, he says, when he was alone, the 12 and the others around him asked him about the parables, and he told them, the secret of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to those on the outside, everything is said in parables. He says that they may be, he quotes again Yahweh's words to Isaiah, that they may be ever seeing but never perceiving, ever hearing, never understanding, otherwise they might turn and be forgiven. Then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? How then will you understand any parable if you don't understand what I'm trying to explain to you? How will you understand anything? Then he says, the farmer sows the word. Some people are like seed along the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear it, it says Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them. That is it when he says that, where we just quoted from in Matthew chapter 13, where he says that those who have, it says more will be given to them and they'll have enough, but those who have a knowledge of the kingdom, that's what he's saying. He says, and those who do not have, even the little they have will be taken away. Who does the taking away? Jesus lets us know here. He says Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them. Who is taking away the word? Yahweh and his angels. That's the fact, because it is still the same Yahweh who says, go and make these people's hearts dull. Close your eyes, close your ears, lest they hear that word that will be spoken and turn and be healed. But Jesus lets us know he is the one doing the healing. He says, and turn and I will heal them. So Isaiah's prophecy, which Yahweh told Isaiah to go tell the people, when Jesus was talking to them, he's telling his disciples, in these people who do not listen, that word from Satan is fulfilled in them. That's what Jesus is saying. Well, anyway, let's now go to John chapter 8. Like I said, I'll try and make this a short video so that we don't stay here long on these things. And I'm making this just so that a few people who do not understand, maybe they just watch one clip and they've not followed our videos, they will not be able to understand the full context of what it is we're talking about. That's why I'm actually making this video. Okay, so let's come here. Where are you? Let's see. Okay, let's read from right. Okay, I just want to point something out here. In John chapter 8, okay, let's just read in verse 42. But first, I think there's something else I should read here, which which I think is good. Okay, let's just go on. In verse 42, Jesus said to them, Jesus speaking at the temple, he said to them, if God were your father, his father now, he's talking about the true God. It says, if God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God, and now I am here. I have not come on my own, but he sent me. Then he says, why is my language not clear to you? He says, because you are unable to hear what I say. Why does he put it that way? I just made you understand. We started from Isaiah chapter 6. Yahweh says, go and close the ears of these people, close the eyes of them, make their hearts dull and calloused, so they would not hear the words, and so they would not turn and be healed. Jesus, in Mark chapter 4 and in Matthew 13, Jesus lets us know, in those who do not hear his words, okay, the words of Yahweh is fulfilled in them, right? He says, lest they turn and be healed by him. He says, and I will heal them. Then here he says to them again, if God were your father, you would love me. He says, because I came from God and now I am here. I have not come on my own. He says, but he sent me. His father sent him. Yahweh is not the father of the Christ, period. He says, he sent me. Then he says, why is my language not clear to you? Why can't you understand what I am saying? He says, because you are unable to hear what I say. Even though they hear the words, they cannot hear it. Why? Because even the little one they hear, Satan, who is Yahweh, the devil, comes and takes it away from them. That's the fact. And even those who listen to what we are saying today, those who cannot understand what we say, it is still the same thing. Yahweh's word spoken in Isaiah is being fulfilled in them. That's the fact of the matter. Because even though they hear, they cannot understand. Their hearts have become callous. Till today, their heart is becoming callous and still callous. And that's why Yahweh still comes and takes the word away from them. So they come into the comment sections and then they try to make dead arguments. Okay? If you cannot understand what we are trying to tell you, it is because you cannot hear what we are saying. And if you cannot hear what we are saying, it's because you are of your father, the devil. Simple. That's the fact. Okay? But anyway, let's just go on. So Jesus says, why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I say. He says, you belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desire. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding on to the truth. He says, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, when he speaks a lie, he speaks his native language. For he is a liar and the father of lies. Yet because I tell you the truth, you do not believe me. Then he says, can any of you prove me guilty of sin? If I am telling the truth, why don't you believe me? He who belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. Now, what am I trying to tell you? The same thing that's happening today, okay? In those who are unable to hear the words that we are saying, and hearing them is not just hearing them is understanding them. Those who are not able to understand, it is because they do not belong to to the God that we know, the Father of the Christ. That's the fact. That is the fact. They will have to take a chance and take a leap of faith and walk on it by faith and accept that, yes, what we are saying is the truth based on the words of the Christ himself. Because he says, if you cannot hear what I'm saying, in you is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah given by Yahweh. He says, lest if you can hear what I'm saying and understand, I will heal you. That's what's he going to heal? He's going to heal your eyes, your ears, and your understanding so that you can see. And when you see, you will have more knowledge and you will increase in more knowledge. But even those who do not see, even the little that they've been able to see, says Yahweh comes and takes it away from them. So they come and then argue with us because they do not understand the words that we say. The fact is that Yahweh is the devil. Yahweh is the one who sent Isaiah to go and put the prophecy out there in the world so that those who will listen to the gospel, the good news of the Christ, even though they see the works, even though they hear, they will not be able to understand. The same thing happened in the days of Jesus. It is still happening today. That's the fact. Because if you are of the same Father of the Christ that we know, okay, you would understand the words that we say. You would not need to struggle with it. But anyway, I think that's enough. I'll just keep it at that, and I'll let you guys think about what we are saying. The fact remains that nothing is going to change it. Jesus himself said it. Those who do not hear the word of God do not belong to God. They are of their father, the devil. That's the fact. That is why they cannot hear. And the little that they get, they try to understand. Satan, Yahweh himself being Satan, comes and takes away that. Why? He does not want them to see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and turn and be healed by Jesus. That's the fact. So anyway, that's all. I think this is fine. I don't know. I think I was a bit forceful, but it doesn't matter anyway. I think this is fine anyway. You guys just take your time, go and watch our previous videos. It will help you to see the context of the things that we talk about. We are talking about the occult wisdom of God, the secret wisdom of the Christ. That's what we are talking about, okay? And if you're not familiar with this, if your pastor doesn't understand this or has never said any of these things, you should listen to what we say, okay? And then be like the Berean Christians and go and compare it with the things that you hear from outside. Compare it and read the book so you can have a better understanding. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much for your time. Hit like, subscribe, share so that others can actually gain from these things that we do, okay? Thank you, and I'll see you guys again soon, okay? Ciao. Bye bye. Yeah.